She was like, it was an abortion, Michael, because this all must end. And I know that you never forgive me with this Sicilian thing. And Michael copped up and slapped fire to ass. Bow. I'm your older brother, Mikey. That was passed over. That's the way Pop wanted. It ain't what I wanted. I can handle things. I'm smart. Alright, y'all. So if you've been keeping up with the channel, I hope you have. If you have, God bless you. So me and my boy Dave from Interpreting the Stars have decided to review the Godfather trilogy. And the reason why is because Dave's not a fan of this franchise. We had a Facebook post, and I forgot who posted it, but Dave had a hot take. He said, I don't like the Godfather. How could you say that? That's one of the most beloved movies of all time. He didn't like the Godfather, so I said, yo, this is a perfect video collab we need to do to review all 3 Godfather movies. Now, quick recap of the last video. Yes, Dave did not like it, but he had respect for it. And at the end of the day, that's all the Mafia wants is respect. You ain't gotta like me, but respect me. Something says Dave is probably gonna like the second Godfather more because it is different from the first movie, okay? And the thing that a lot of sequels do is they try to capitalize off the success of the first movie and repeat everything from the first movie. Probably tweak a little things, but pretty much do the same exact thing. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. No, 2 goes in a totally opposite direction. It's longer, and this time we have the origin of Vito Corleone intertwined with what's going on with Michael. Alright, so right off rip, I love Godfather 2. If you ask me any day of the week, I can flip-flop. I can say 1 is better or 2 is better. I don't think nobody in the history of man ever said 3 is better, okay? But yeah, 1 and 2, I flip-flop between those 2 a lot. So I have as much love for the second movie as I do for the first movie. But I can give some criticisms where the second, I've heard from some people that the second movie is slower paced and not as entertaining as the first one. The first one is more straightforward and kind of to the point, even though it's still a long movie. But I think it was a little more easier to follow. That's what some people say. I mean, to me, I love both of them. But I can understand that criticism because 2 is a little slower, but damn it, it's still fucking epic. So let me shut up. I'm going to let Dave take the floor. Dave's even going to go into the plot and everything. And let us know, bro, do you like Godfather 2 better than 1?
The Godfather Part 2 is a 1974 crime drama, once again directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and it serves as both a prequel and a sequel to the first film, which is interesting in and of itself. Returning to the film is a number of actors, primarily Al Pacino as Michael Corleone, the new Godfather, so to speak, as he continues to expand on his family's business amid allegations and betrayals abound. The prequel aspect of the film is kind of an origin story for Vito, this time played by Robert De Niro, but also an origin story for how the Corleone business came to be in the first place. 3.5 hours. Rashad, 3.5 hours of Godfather crap. You know, I have to battle myself to watch a 3.5 hour long movie that I want to see. Titanic. Great movie, right? 8 minutes shorter than this, and still too long for me to commit to watching. But a movie that I really don't want to see, being this long, I don't know. I think I'd rather be an enemy of the Corleones so that they can shoot me dead before watching this, because the duration of this movie is
too damn hot.
And why does it need to be a prequel and a sequel? The 2 stories don't overlap or mean anything to each other. It's literally like 2 short films interweaved together for no real reason. Vito is doing his own thing. Michael's doing his own thing. It's not connected, all smart, like in like This Is Us, for instance. No, they're literally their own stories, that's it. And why did Robert De Niro win Best Actor for this again? Because he spoke Italian? Then in the same breath, you have to give an Oscar to Brad Pitt for his beautiful, breathtaking performance in Inglourious Basterds.
Buongiorno.
I was told quite a bit that this movie was probably going to be more my speed. The pace was more organic, the story was a little bit more interesting. But they must have all been gathering together to troll me, because I could barely stand this film. The pace was worse because each story watered each other down. Like, I could see them making either half an entire movie all on its own. but because they decided to make a random film with two completely disconnected stories and act like they're the same. Why? Now look, the nice things that I had to say about the first film, I will repeat, because it's still well acted, it's still well written when it comes down to the dialogue, you still got a good eye for cinematography, editing, music, all that. The stuff that the first one did right on a technical level, they repeated in part 2. And nothing really made my interest peak more. Nothing made me care about the characters. In fact, when Kay dropped the bomb on Michael that she had an abortion and not a miscarriage, he had that look of betrayal on. I was like, yes, go Kay! In your face, Michael! You deserve that, you piece of trash, man. I have a feeling that we're supposed to feel for Michael and hate Kay alongside with him. But I was like,
Clever girl.
I can't help it, man. I can't. The Mafia aren't cool to me. I don't sense that family dynamic, and I know it's there. I know it's important to the film. They remind you as much as Vin Diesel does in a single Fast and Furious film.
I got family.
But at least in those movies, they're only cool because they drive sexy cars and save the day like they're superheroes, and the Mafia just ends up killing everybody so that they might win, but at the end of the day, what does that cost them?
Everything.
So overall, I feel almost identically as I did with the first. That is, I respect it for taking those technical steps that people see as a masterpiece and then running with them, but I also couldn't really be all that invested with it at the end of the day, so my end score is going to pretty much reflect that. As you can see, just like the first, I gave it a score of B with a number score of 70, which is only really lower than what I gave the first because of the pointless back and forth stuff between Vito and Michael. Maybe Rashad can tell everybody why this thing needed to go back and forth, why it needed to tell both of those stories and water the plot thin, why that was so integral, and why Robert De Niro got an Oscar for that. But until next time, Rashad, thanks again for inviting me over to your channel, and I'll see you later. Peace out.
I'm a little surprised. I thought you were going to say you like 2 better than 1. Now, I just want to address one thing that you said, that the origin of Vito did not belong in the movie. And this is me personally now. I feel like it fit perfectly because Michael, the whole reason why Michael became a Don, the Don, is because Vito got sick and somebody had to carry on the family name, the family business. Sonny's killed. Fredo is weak and stupid. Connie, of course, is a woman. Nobody's going to respect her as a Don, and she's getting ass whipped by her husband, which Michael took care of. So Michael was the only one. He had to. He had no choice. He had to fall into his destiny. So in the second movie, here is Michael continuing it on, but as time goes on, Michael is now colder. He's not the same lovable Michael that he was in the first movie up until he became a Don. Like Michael was, he was like the everyman, you know what I'm saying? But now he's straight up Don mode. Cold, calculated. He's scary at times. Like he goes full like Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader here. You know what I'm saying? So we cut from that to where it all began. So when we see Vito's origin, this is what Michael is fighting for. This is where Michael comes from in the lineage, and you see the same struggles that Vito went through. You know what I'm saying? Michael's kind of going through now. You know what I'm saying? I always like that father-son dynamic where you see, okay, like, where does he get this from? Like, I mean, just even real life, like, boy, you act just like your daddy. Boy, your daddy was the same way. And now, you know, you get to say, like, Michael, you remind me of your father. Well, let's see how the father was. And we see Vito's humble beginnings. But in this case, Michael has it worse because Michael has to go through family betrayal where his brother Fredo betrays him. Now, it's a matter of opinion because you could say, well, Fredo didn't know that he was betraying Michael. Or you could say, well, he knew. Well, I think it's obvious he knowingly did betray Michael because he was like, you know, there's something in it for me. You know, for once, I have something of my own. Like, I was passed over. I'm your older brother. And, you know, I'm shit on all the time. Like, I want to respect for the first time. So, I don't think he intended for Michael to get killed. But he did have his own selfish reasons why he betrayed him. And Michael never thought in a million years that anybody in his family would betray him. Like, Michael's biggest concern was Hyman Roth. You know what I mean? Hyman Roth was the guy that Michael was just focused on, and the capo that he had, the guy that talking like this. I forgot his name, but that guy, who we also had to deal with, he's dealing with those two and everything else going on. And out of everything, my own brother is the one that betrayed me. How the hell? And on top of that, my wife, who I thought had a miscarriage, had an abortion. So Michael, looking back, looking at his father's life, how his father lived, like you look at Vito's come up, Vito knew nothing about betrayal from his own. Like he had to rise up and take out the neighborhood don that was extorting from everybody. And he had the loyalty of his wife, he had the loyalty of his boys, you know what I'm saying, his crew, Clemenza, and what's the other name? The old man that betrayed him in the first movie. So Vito knew nothing but loyalty from the people that he loved. But now you go to Michael, and Michael is being betrayed left and right. Like the one that hit the hardest was the abortion. And I think, Dave, you said that was your favorite part when she was like, it was an abortion, Michael, because this all must end. And I know that you never forgive me with this Sicilian thing. And Michael cop up and slap fire to ass. Bow. I'm not one for hitting women, but can we admit you can get a pass when your baby's aborted and your wife knowingly tells you that she aborted your baby because she didn't want to bring one of your children into this world. Well, I'll slap fire at you. I'll do it again twice on Sunday. So bottom line is, I love The Godfather Part 2, and I especially loved at the end where after all is said and done, Michael's mother dies, Kay is gone, he has his kids, he had to kill Fredo. You know what I'm saying? Even though he took care of business, Hyman Roth and everything, he took care of all that. But his family is now broken, and in the process, he's broken. So I love that scene when he's sitting in the chair and he's just reflecting on simpler times, on better times before he had all this responsibility when they were just a family. You know what I'm saying? And he's sitting there and he's telling Sonny and Fredo that he's going to the army to fight in World War II. And, Sonny, I thought that was funny because Sonny was about to fight him and you hear the little girls in the background saying, Mom, Daddy's fighting again. Shout out to Sonny, man. Rest in peace. But, yeah, you just think about, damn, we were once a happy family. Everything was good. How the fuck did it get to this? And I guess in that same moment, he's saying, like, damn, am I such a monster? Am I such a terrible person where I lost my family? Like, is this my fault that my family fell apart? Is this what I was fighting for? And then he thinks about Vito, you know what I'm saying? And Vito has his business, everything is good. Like, from now on, my family's going to be good. Nah, look what Michael's going through. All right, so what happens now? Where does Michael go from here? Tune in for part 3. So part 3 is coming up. Godfather 2 gets an A++++++++++. Love The Godfather Part 2, man. Dave, you're welcome. I think somewhere down the line you will eventually appreciate these movies, man. I have faith. One day you will appreciate these movies. I could be wrong. I don't know. Shit, I do this every time. Dave, I'm sorry. Hopefully people get to near the end of this video. But yeah, subscribe. I'm going to leave the link in the description. Subscribe to Interpreting the Stars. Dave is a movie critic and he knows his shit. All right, he breaks down movies the way, few people can do it, man. He really is on top of his game when it comes to his movie criticism shit. Even though we have different tastes in movies, man. But I just love how he breaks movies down and he does it in a comedic way. I dig it. So yeah, Dave Interpreting the Stars. Who's calling me? I'll call it back. Yeah, so comment freely below. Let me know what you thought about Godfather Part 2. Subscribe to Interpreting the Stars. If you like and dig this content, hit that like and subscribe notification bell in the corner. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.